Welcome to StockMarketFunding.com. Today's date happens to be Sunday. It also happens to be 7:25 a.m. 7:25 in the a.m. of the 25th date of 7:25 at 9:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, we have here what we call earnings preview for the week of July 26th through the 30th. And on Monday, we're going to have, these are the companies, Chinese company Soho. We're going to be watching and see what it does. So that's going to be number one in this group here, as far as a listed NASDAQ ADR. We're also going to be watching on Tuesday, AKS Steel, because we want to know what they want to say. Another one that we like is Panera Bread, PNRA, Panera Bread. It does real well as a restaurant stock. Kind of like the CMG trade went up $12. We're going to be looking for this move here. Doesn't move like CMG, but you know, it likes to make its $5 moves. On 1,000 shares is $5,000. Anyway, another one that we're going to be watching is LLL. We're going to be watching the key thing about the NDAQ, that's a NASDAQ, because we want to know what NASDAQ volume is and we want to know where their client base is. Options Express, we want to know where their client base is so we know how many of the day trader community is involved in the market versus the professional market makers like SMF. SMF Street is not a day trading street. Sorry. Everything that we do is quite different and quite mathematically accurate as price action. So anyway, our system is totally different than any of the systems you've ever seen. Now we're going to be looking at Broadcom, BRCM, semiconductor, good company. We're going to be looking to see what they got out of the conference calls. Buffalo Wild Wings, we went short last quarter and it fell $10 on BWLD on Buffalo Wild Wings. Massey Energy, but more importantly is, what does Panera Bread have to say? One of the other things that we're going to be looking at, because Digital River, DRIV, and the AKAM within the technology sector, both of which we have traded since they were very young little puppies, coming publicly traded on the exchanges, and we know their earnings and we know everything about the companies inside and out. All eyes, AKAM, all eyes, DRIV, after hours, NASDAQ listed. On Thursday, we're interested in what Potash, POT, has to say. ExxonMobil, we want to know what they really got to say. When is a highlight, because basically the earnings, even though that traffic has been down in Las Vegas in June and July both, is that the revenues are offset over there in Macau. But we're going to be taking a look at these earnings and after hours there. Our wonderful trade that we did so well last earnings season, which was the last quarter, was First Solar. We bought the 150 calls. Go find the videos on StockMarketFunding.com and you can see that after hours trade and how we bought those options and cashed them in. Kalac Tencor, another semi. We want to find out where they're at in the supply chain, and once again we've got another one coming up, is that VESA, who did real well last quarter, and we're not going to be in that trade ahead of the quarter, but we're going to be really watching what kind of opportunity that may come that way, because VESA would be a nice trade to get at the right times. Once the report is out of the way, we won't be going on any options before that report on this one. Tyco International is an important one to find out where their diversified portfolio service management is, and getting the actual correct earnings report out of them. The software company right here, Citrix Systems, is to see what they have to say. And Comcast, as a cable provider in the after hour earnings, we want to know what they got to say, because it's going to give us a little bit more of insight as where their cable-based subscription models are actually at with the consumer, which is very important to SMF Street. Okay, as far as the best one to trade during the earnings season will be First Solar. That will be number one. Number two will be Wynn. Number three will be in the tech sector on a scale out of the Digital River right here and the Akeman. Those are two different type of components than the one that I just listed because they're in different sectors. But still, we're going to see which one of these two that we are going to want to get in. If it's a good earnings report and they gap it down, we're going to buy the heck out of it. Okay, just like we did on VMW. Go look at VMware. We have after-hour videos on StockMarketFunding.com and look at how we bought that one. So basically, those are the best ones. The Soho, it makes money, could run anywhere from $2.50 to $6.50 depending on the earnings report. Okay. The Cephlon, CEPH, is in a totally different sector. We'll be taking a look. This is also a mover. AKS Steel, which is a lower steel company. It's not like US Steel and those kinds of steel companies. There's X reporting right there. And we want to know what these steel companies have to say relative to what China has to say, because they make a lot of money out of there. Now, so that's basically the highlight of the earnings for that date in time for the upcoming week. Notice that there'll be a lot of other stocks out there reporting earnings, but this is just a bulk reading, not the full reading, but just a bulk reading of what we're going to be looking at, why we want to get in these kind. Expedia's internet, by the way, doesn't move a whole lot. Motorola is, what do they really got to say? Okay, so some of these, you know, that we're not going to trade them, but we do want to know what the CEO has to say and where the quarter was. All right, that will be enough there. And prior to Wynn and First Solar is we're going to take a look at these daily charts. So we're going to buy some call options or some put options going in to that Thursday report. Gives us a few days in advance to build that position, and that one there being number one position. We got a $10 gap last quarter. It's got a nice move. We're going to take a look at where we're at on a weekly, daily, and a 60-minute chart using our proprietary charting mathematical system, not your charts that you see here. We'll use our own SMF. This is more for historical data. All right. Visa is one that we're going to be looking at to find out where the consumer is with the credit card transactions. And if the credit card transactions are higher, then that means consumer is still using their plastic to go out and make purchases in restaurants and shopping malls and things that they like to do, such as going to the movie houses and flying around the country. It's going to give us a very good idea what that CEO has to say about their credit card transactions. If credit card transactions are high, then consumers are still spending money. See ya. Once again, folks, earnings preview for the week of July 26th through the 30th. It's all right here.